So this morning I've come out, I've been doing a bit of research on waterfalls in my local area because I'm enjoying shooting locally at the moment. It takes a little bit less time and you're sort of promoting your local area a little bit. So what I found was a waterfall that I'd not actually seen before. It kind of appeared out of nowhere on the internet and it was about 7 miles away from me. So very local. And I'm really glad I brought my wellies with me because my new pair of trainers would not have survived this. But it's just off the beaten track, so I'm hoping that it's quite accessible and I can find it, get a nice shot or two, and then head home. Good morning's work. Let's see what we can do. I'm not really sure where I'm going, which could be a bit tricky, but I'm just sticking to the footpaths, or what look like footpaths at least. Hopefully try and find this waterfall, but this is a beautiful bit of woodland as well. I wasn't planning on sticking around for too long today, but the trees, the beautiful, I don't know what the trees are, people say. People seem to know more about me than about nature and woodland and stuff. But all I can say is that the beautiful trees, and the sky's quite well lit today, so there's some lovely bits of sunlight coming through. So once I get the camera out, I might be taking some woodland as well. We'll see. The one thing I've learnt recently is that when you're in woodland like this and you're not really sure where you, oh my word, that's a bit boggy. When you're not really sure where you are, you've got to rely on your ears as well, because I could hear this waterfall from quite some distance away and I was just following it even though I couldn't see it. So that's quite good. Now to try and access it without falling over. See you in a minute. I've found where the brook or the stream is cutting through the land, but I've not yet found the waterfall that I've seen on the internet in the pictures. I found some lovely little falls that would make perfect individual shots, but I think somewhere there is a bigger fall as well, so I'm going to head up and see if I can find it. Hopefully it's up. In fact, I think it's there. Alright, it's up. Let's try and traverse all this. I've made it to the waterfall. There's not a lot of water coming over it today, which I didn't expect because there wasn't a lot downstream either. But it's lovely and I can't believe it's within a 15-20 minute drive of my house. So let's get the gear out and try and get a picture. I've just been over here standing on that. I didn't take the camera with me. I didn't take the video camera with me. I did take my camera with me. And I just got a couple of lovely shots close up with my new lens, with my 10-22 lens on 10mm, so nice and wide. I did a nice one in landscape and I did quite a nice one in portrait as well to try and get a bit of the height. The thing is, we're quite low here and there's nowhere really to go and to get up a little bit to get the top bits of the fall, so I'm sort of half concentrating on the bottom bits of the fall, on the lower sections, but there's so much of it and it's absolutely beautiful. If this is the main one, it's perfect, but I've walked past loads of stuff downstream as well, so on the way back I'll probably try and get a couple more shots of that. I'm really happy. This waterfall is just something else. It's a little bit off the beaten track, as I said, but it's definitely worth the effort. So I've just finished up using my 10 to 22mm lens. I've got some lovely shots. I've tried to be a little bit more creative as well. Sort of half inspired by Tim Day's waterfall video recently. I'll put the link up here now. He got a shot which he called under the edge, or under the ledge, which was lovely. There's not many ledges that I can get under here, but I've gone for a bit of an alternate angle, and I'll put that one up next. So what I'm going to do now is get my other lens out, put the 10 stop on and try and get some lovely long exposures of this waterfall, and then I'm going to head home. It's been a really short visit, but what a fantastic place. I've just set a test shot off with my other lens with the 10 stop on. I'm shooting at, what am I shooting at? Oh, I can't even see, I don't want to touch the camera, I'll tell you what I'm shooting at in a minute. But I'm just doing a test shot just to see what sort of length I need to have the exposure. I know you can get apps and stuff like that, but I like to sort of do it a bit more manually. So I'm just setting off a minute. That's just come to an end now. I think it's probably going to need a good 2.5 minutes. So let me just set that up and I'll come back to you. So as I was saying, I think it's going to be 2.5 minutes, maybe a little bit more actually, because it's quite dark here. We're quite sort of overlooked by all the trees, which is really nice. It's creating some nice conditions, but there is a right at the top where that sort of, well, within the photo where the source of the waterfall's coming from. It's really bright because the sun's just hitting that bit, so it's going to be a bit of a trial and error to see what we can get. But I'm flabbergasted by this place. I didn't know it existed. It was one random page where I saw a photograph of it and I was like, I need to go there. So I thoroughly recommend it. I'll put the location in the description below as well. But yeah, come along. And if you are coming along, drop me a message because I'll come with you. So this exposure's coming to the end of what I was testing it with. It's currently on 214, 215. I'm going to get it to 230 and then see what it looks like. That will definitely smooth out all the water. And I've noticed a little bit more over the 10, 15, 20 minutes that I've been here that there's more and more water coming over. So there must be some rain somewhere. Here we go, 2.5 minutes. Let's see what that looks like. Slightly overexposed, I think. Let's try a 2-minute one. I think it's difficult because that, as I say, that sun is just in and out from behind the clouds and through the trees. But it is creating, as I said, some lovely conditions. This might be my new favourite location. So the 2-minute shot at 18mm looks really nice, but I've just poured in slightly. I think I'm on about 40mm, just to try and get rid of that sunlight at the top of the falls, because it's a little bit overpowering as it just keeps coming out, or it's just disappeared again. Typical. So I'm going to let this one run for about 2 minutes again, and then I think that might be home time. I might stop at a few mini falls on the way down. But this place is brilliant. I keep saying it's fantastic, but it really is. I can't believe I've got it all to myself as well. I wonder how many people actually know about it. Some people do, because someone's chucked a license plate, a registration plate off and left it here. And there are bags and litter and cans and stuff, but this morning it's just me, which is lovely. That shot was slightly out of focus, so I've just refocused it and I've set it off again for another 2 minutes. Visually it looked great, but it was just slightly out of focus. And the bird just dropped down onto the falls as well. Anyway, so I've got a couple of batteries that are running out. I travel quite light today. I didn't bring much with me. It was more of a scouting mission to see what it was like, but it's somewhere where I would definitely come back, just in case you hadn't realised, just in case I hadn't said it enough times. So I'm going to let this one run for 2 minutes, 2 minutes 10 maybe, and then I am going to pack up and head home for a drink and to do some work. So please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. If you have subscribed, thank you very much. Please like the video, and if you leave any comments, I will reply to the comments. But that's me. from, I think it's called Hatchbrook Falls. I'll put the location in the description below, and I will see you next time. See you later.